За втор пат во Скопје и вкупно за трети пат се случува Infotek Samitot. Настан на кој најголемиот брендови од светот на технологијата дојдоа тука во Скопје да го споделат своето искуство за тоа како вештачката интелигенција ја менува технологијата на денешницата. На сцената на македонската опера и балет, овие два дена се слушнаа многу искуства од реномирани светски компании кои го споделија својот успех во оваа област. Започнува Инфотек. Филип Аврамчев, веќе добро познат пријател на ID Media и Infotek, гостуваше во првата епизода. Кратко ќе ни каже за почетокот на Infotek Samitot во Скопје. Филип, добре дојде во емисијата. На првиот ден сме на терен, еве вака во една друга атмосфера. Кажи ми како тече настанот веќе неколку часа, можам да кажеме, од како е започнат, дали се исполни очекувањата, сите дојдоа, каква е целата атмосфера?
Генерално вештачката интелигенција, па интересот и компаниите кај нас и индивидуалците многу повеќе се заинтересирани како ќе оди развитокот на технологијата. Се надам, мислам дека ќе све поактуелно ќе биде темата, така што можеби до година и ќе треба да одиме на поголема локација, така што да оставиме за до година. Мислам дека добро е што расте настанот, добро е што има поголем интерес и добро е што се надам дека до година ќе имаме повеќе инволвирани како и говорници од македонски компании кои што ќе зауземат сцена.
All the way to the highest level of organization of the human body, the neurons in our brain are connected in a graph structure of synaptic connections. So the key takeaway is experts cannot distinguish tactical adjustments from real corners.
Петар Velickovic од Google DeepMind ми е чест да му посакам добре дојде во ова кратко интервју за Infotek и ID Media. Петар Velickovic е еден од говорниците и панелистите на годинешниот самит за вештачка интелигенција. И со него ќе поразговараме малце за иднината на оваа технологија, како и за сите очекувања не само од настанот, туку и од целокупниот впечаток кој тука ќе се види и ќе се добие во смисла на нетворкинг и поврзување помеѓу идеите и бизнисите. Како што се знае, веројатно дел од гледачите и се запознаени со вашата работа. Вие работите за Google во Лондон, во Обединетото кралство, во Англија, на развој на продукти кои се базираат исклучиво на вештачка интелигенција. Помеѓу другите, кои се навистина популарни, ваши производи е и имплементацијата на вештачката интелигенција за која говоревте денеска во мапите на Google. Малку може ли накратко да дадеме една увертира во тоа?
Da, naravno. Dakle, naš rad zajedno sa Google mapama je bio možda jedan od najviše uticajnijih proizvoda u koje sam imao priliku da učestvujem unutar mojih 5-6 godina u Google DeepMindu i to je konkretno korišćenje veštačke inteligencije za predviđanje očekivanog vremena putovanja u Google Mapsu. Dakle, verovatno ste koristili Google Maps u nekom momentu, otvorite aplikaciju, kažete želim da putujem od mesta A do mesta B i onda Google Maps osim predloženog puta koji možete voziti, takođe predlaže i koliko će otprilike vremena trebati za taj put. I ovo je informacija koja je jako važna ne samo nama kao korisnicima Google Maps aplikacije, nego i kompanijama koje koriste Google Mapsova predviđanja da bi servirali svojim korisnicima kada će im stići vozilo, kada će im stići hrana i slično. Recimo, Uber je jedna kompanija koja se oslanja između ostalog na predviđanja Google Mapsove aplikacije. Znači, to je zaista jedno predviđanje koje je jako važno za ljude i koje svakodnevno koristi milijardu ljudi, minimum. Tako da, mi smo konkretno iskoristili strukturu putničke mreže. Dakle, većina prethodnih sistema koji su predviđali vreme putovanja su samo gledali otprilike na svakom delu puta koliko su se brzo kretala vozila u određeno doba dana i na taj način su napravili neko integrisano predviđanje, ali takav sistem nije u sposobnosti da se brzo prilagodi na recimo saobraćajni špic ili bilo kakve neočekivane situacije, blokirane puteve koji bi onda promenili tu raspodelu i koliko sam shvatio, ovo mi je prvi put u Skoplju, ali koliko sam shvatio Skoplju Skopje takođe ima relativno ponekad problem sa zastojima u saobraćaju koji mogu da otežaju predviđanje ovakvih vremena putovanja. Naš sistem je bio prvi sistem u Google Mapsu koji je zapravo direktno uzeo u obzir kako izgleda putnička mreža, kako su veze povezane i onako na neki način pokušava da simulira protok saobraćaja, ne samo da koristi istorijske informacije. I efekat toga je bio jako veliki. Onog momenta kad smo lansirali sistem u Google Mapsu, u određenim gradovima sveta, pogotovo u gradovima gde je malo komplikovaniji saobraćaj, kao što su recimo Sidney, Taichung i tako dalje, smo smanjili broj neželjenih ishoda, gde je recimo predviđanje više od 10 minuta pogrešno, skoro 50%. Znači, prepolovili smo koliko često Google Maps pravi greške u takvim ulazima i u početku je bilo limitiran izlaz tog sistema na samo određene delove sveta. Sada, izuzetno sam ponosan da kažem da je taj sistem uključen u Google Maps svuda u svetu. Dakle, evo sada smo u Makedoniji, u Skoplju. Ako mi sada uzmemo Google Maps i tražimo koji je najkraći put i najlakši put da odemo od A do B, vreme koje dobijemo će biti servirano modelom koji smo mi razvili u Google DeepMind.
Вакви динамички технологии секако се нешто што постојано се развиваат и во таа смисла е нешто што постојано се храни со нови информации, но сакам да ве прашам, колку време траеше процесот на развивање на ова ваше решение засновано на вештачкава интелигенција од нацрт до финален производ кој веќе го користиме денеска?
To je odlično pitanje i vreme razvoja dosta zavisi od toga koliko je tehnologija već, koliko je platforma već pripremljena za razvoj takve tehnologije. U slučaju Google Mapsa, recimo, to je tehnologija koja je unutar Googlea postojala već decenijama i u suštini oni su imali jako dobru infrastrukturu kojom su mogli da dođu do velikog broja podataka koje mi onda možemo koristiti da jednostavnije obučavamo sisteme. Dakle, mi kao ekipa koja osmišljava samo algoritme veštačke inteligencije, mi često moramo da razmišljamo i o podacima i kako da prikupljamo podatke, kako da ih na pravi način upotrebimo. U ovakvoj situaciji to nije bio slučaj i zaista smo mogli samo da uzmemo platformu koja je već postojala i da se fokusiramo samo na razvoj modela. I vreme od zasnivanja ideje do momenta kad je ona zapravo bila prvi put puštena u ograničenim delovima sveta, ja mislim da je trebalo otprilike 7-8 meseci sve ukupno. Da smo morali da skupljamo podatke i da pravimo platformu, bilo bi daleko teže. Da.
Ме интересира една од недоумиците кога е во прашање вештачка интелигенција и таквиот тип на работење со податоци е приватноста. Веројатно една од главните аспекти на која се базира вашава технологија е собирањето и на информациите, но и нивното складирање и работење, да речам, со истите со цел добивање резултат. Како ги решивте овие недоумици во смисла на заштита на тие податоци, во смисла на сето она што ги прави обичните луѓе да се плашат, па не само од Google како еден голем вендор, туку и од вештачката интелигенција како појава?
Da, dakle, naravno ne možemo imati dobre sisteme veštačke inteligencije bez dobrih podataka, to je generalno takva situacija i recimo u domenu kao što su mape, neophodno je imati informacije o tome kako se istorijski saobraćaj kretao. Dakle, konkretno kako recimo Google dobija te informacije, vi kao korisnik koristite Google Maps, dobijate od Google Mapsa korisna predviđanja za vaše putovanje. Za uzvrat, Google prati informacije o tome gde se vaš telefon nalazi u kolima dok vozite i na osnovu brzine pomeranja telefona može da predvidi koliko se brzo kreće saobraćaj u nekom momentu. Dakle, razlog zašto imamo dobra predviđanja je zato što pri korišćenju aplikacije mi ustupamo taj podatak o tome koliko brzo se kreće naš telefon, da bi onda Google to mogao da iskoristi za bolja predviđanja. Dakle, ja smatram da je za imanje efikasnih i korisnih sistema veštačke inteligencije neophodno određen nivo podataka dati sistemu koji nam servira ta predviđanja, jer bez tih podataka ta predviđanja neće biti dovoljno dobra. Privatnost i način da imamo kontrolu nad tim koji podaci se koriste i na koji način su stvari koje su Google kao kompaniji jako važne i mi smo generalno izuzetno obazrivi da nikad ne koristimo podatke u treniranju naših sistema koji nemaju pravu licencu, koji nam ne dozvoljavaju da ih koristimo na pravi način ili bilo kako prikupljanje podataka koji nisu u domenu nužde. Znači, recimo, za mape nam je neophodno da znamo koliko brzo se kreće saobraćaj, ne treba nam nikakva druga informacija od telefona, osim toga koliko brzo se kreće.
Така, уште кратко за Google, па бидејќи ни лимитирано времето ќе офатиме за вашата друга работа во Ливерпул, ме интересира da li imate nekakva informacija, do kada je projektot na Google za Gemini, nivниот асистент базиран на вештачка интелигенција, со помошна вештачка интелигенција, имаше определени грижи во јавноста, да речам, околу неговата функционалност, па еве, дали може би имавте прилика со некој од сродните сектори во канцеларијата во Лондон да позборувате и за ова?
Konkretno za Gemini nisam u mogućnosti da dajem vrlo detaljne informacije o tome kako se sam sistem razvijao, zato što nisam deo Gemini tima. Dakle, učestvujem više u fundamentalnom istraživačkom radu i nekim primenjenim projektima kao što je bio Liverpool i Google Maps. Tako da nemam sad mnogo informacija o tome kako je Gemini treniran i na koji način je primenjen, ali ono što sigurno znam jeste da smo izuzetno pažljivi na temu koji podaci se koriste da se Gemini trenira, na koji način se izlazi Gemini serviraju korisnicima i kao i svaka generativna veštačka inteligencija i Gemini isto nije imun na sporadične greške. Jednostavno način na koji su ti sistemi danas trenirani je da oni u suštini pokupe ogromnu količinu informacija sa interneta i samim tim, pošto su načitaniji nego što bilo ko od nas će ikad moći da bude, jer mi ne možemo pročitati trilione dokumenata za naš život, a pogotovo ne da ih razumemo kako treba, jedan takav sistem je sve to pročitao i on onda može da nam servira informacije na način koji će nama biti interesantan, da ih kombinuje na načine koji će da nas inspirišu i slično, ali zato što je to na kraju dana statistička metoda koja pokušava da poveže gomilu informacija na neki način, desit će se, i to je poznat problem koji se zove halucinacije, sistem će ponekad da izmišlja stvari koje nisu tačne. I mi smo tokom razvijanja takvih sistema videli na razne načine da se dešavaju problemi sa takvim vrstama izlaza. Nekada takve vrste problema ne možemo potpuno da otklonimo, zato što jednostavno tako su sistemi obučeni. Jako su korisni za neke stvari, ali za neke malo više faktičke ili rezonujuće stvari nisu još uvek toliko dobri i naravno vrlo aktivno radimo na njihovom razvoju. Da li to znači da oni nisu korisni? Naravno da ne, vrlo su korisni u trenutnom obliku. Da li to znači da treba da prihvatimo kakvi su i da ih ne poboljšavamo? Ne, stalno radimo da ih poboljšavamo, ali to je jedan vrlo aktivan proces.
Kao sem во Google работевте и за Ливерпул и во развивање на модел со чија помош и вештачка интелигенција ќе се прават подобри стратегии за фудбалските надпревари, анализи и така натаму подготовки. Може ли кратко еве за тоа искуство како лондонец со оглед на тоа дека таму сте студирале дојде да работи за Ливерпул фудбалскиот клуб?
Da, odlično pitanje. Pa Liverpool je, moram to jednu stvar da napomenem, Liverpool je sa stanovišta korišćenja podataka u donošenju odluka jedan klub koji je izuzetno ispred svog vremena. Oni su već pre 10 godina krenuli da zapošljavaju naučnike koji su dobijali doktorate iz fizike i matematike na univerzitetima poput Cambridgea, Harvarda i MIT-a. Znači oni su zaista zapošljavali naučnike da pokušaju da nađu neke zakonitosti u njihovim podacima i da na osnovu toga imaju bolje donošenje odluka u fudbalskoj analitici. Mi smo tu prirodno onda mogli da uđemo kao saradnici i da pokažemo kako neke naše tehnike veštačke inteligencije, koje su možda malo naprednije od standardnih statističkih metoda, mogu da otkriju neke interesantnije stvari u tome kako funkcioniše igra fudbala. I u saradnji sa našim kolegama iz Liverpoola smo uspeli da napravimo jedan sistem koji se zove Tactic AI, koji je sposoban da analizira strategije i šablone u različitim situacijama u igri fudbala i da na osnovu toga predviđa ko će da primi loptu u sledećem dodavanju, da li ćemo imati šut za narednih možda nekoliko sekundi i možda najinteresantniji deo da predviđa koliko bismo mogli da pomerimo odbrambene igrače u nekoj postojećoj situaciji da bi imali veću ili manju verovatnoću da bude gol, recimo.
Последно прашање, ќе ги спојам две у едно. Првото е што се вашите очекувања од годинешниот iTech Summit, каде сметате дека ќе напредува и вештачката интелигенција во глобала? И уште едно прашање, дали ги гледате земите на Западен Балкан, од кои сме дел и ние, Македонија, Србија, Хрватска, Босна и така натаму, како една навистина плодна почва за кадри како вас, кои имаат навистина еден широк поглед на светот и можност да се развиваат во професионална смисла?
Odlično pitanje. Krenut ću prvo sa globalnim delom, dakle gde vidimo razvoj veštačke inteligencije u budućnosti na globalu. Kao što sam i napomenuo u mom odgovoru za Gemini, trenutno mesta gde ovi jako moćni asistenti veštačke inteligencije nemaju toliko dobre sposobnosti je u zapravo razumevanju šta je ono što rade. Znači, jako su dobri da pohvataju gomilu informacije, da nam onda serviraju interesantno neke kombinacije tih informacija ili čak da nam nešto prepevaju da zvuči kao pesma, što je inače naučni rad ili tako neke stvari, ali da na jako rigorozan način razumeju šta rade, to je veći problem. Znači imamo sada tu, ajde da kažem, skoro paradoksalnu situaciju gde sistem veštačke inteligencije može da reši problem sa matematičke olimpijade, koji samo neki od najtalentovanijih matematičara mogu da reše, a s druge strane ne može da pomnoži trocifrene brojeve bez da napravi veliku grešku. Znači to je taj problem. Znači zna neke jako opskurne informacije da primi kako treba, ali ne može jako dobro da rezonuje na način koji će da radi za sve moguće ulaze. I to je nešto što je trenutno, ja bih rekao, glavni trend. To je donekle i tema mog istraživačkog rada. Znači, velika je trenutno tema u međunaučnim krugovima u veštačkoj inteligenciji kako da napravimo sisteme koji bolje rezonuju, koji zapravo ne moraju čak i da vide gomilu podataka kako izgleda množiti dva broja, nego razumeju kako mi možemo pomnožiti dva broja cifru po cifru i na osnovu toga da sa manje grešaka rade te stvari na različitim ulazima. A za temu našeg regiona, Zapadnog Balkana, pre svega velika mi je čast što sam ovde u Skoplju na Infotek Summitu. Ovo je zapravo moj prvi put u Makedoniji, želeo sam da posetim duže vreme već i ovaj poziv je bio odlična prilika za to. Generalno mnogo volim da posećujem lokalne AI zajednice i da vidim kako se tehnologija razvija baš kod nas na lokalu, pošto mi smo uvek ekipa koja je iz naših regiona, mi smo ljudi koji su izuzetno talentovani. To je očigledno kada vidite koliko naših naučnika i inženjera je svuda u svetu na jako uticajnim i važnim pozicijama. Ali ono što nam možda ponekad fali, pogotovo za ljude koji su i dalje ostali u lokalnim zajednicama, jeste da imamo malo više motivacije, da pokušamo da jurimo prilike koje nam ozbiljno pripadaju i u isto vreme da možda imamo priliku da se povežemo sa zajednicom u dijaspori, sa nekim od uticajnih profesora i akademika i industrijskih istraživača. Takve prilike možda nemamo toliko mnogo i zato ovakve inicijative su odličan način da što više tih najmodernijih trendova dovedemo baš ovde kod nas, da ne moramo da napuštamo naše države da bismo imali priliku da se bavimo uticajnim stvarima. Ja mislim da tu da idemo u budućnosti i nadam se da ćemo na tom putu i ostati.
Како ви се допадна овогодишниот самит? Првиот ден веќе изминува, дали ги задоволи вашите очекувања, дали подобро ги разгледавте и ви се отворија некои нови можности за технолошки развој во рамки на вашата компанија Avantcode?
Се она што е во сршта на Artificial Intelligence и што се каде навлегува, е опфатано, барем до сега. Сега дефинитивно требаат вакви настани за и ние како компании да можеме дополнително да го презентираме дали во делот на услуги, дали во делот на кадар, нели секој ќе се најде во нешто во однос на конференцијата. Нашите очекувања конкретно тука се дефинитивно нетворкинг делот, односно вмрежување, да бидеме во тек со тоа што се случува во светот. Токму и за тоа е одлична и листата на говорници кои што имаат од надвор, секако супер и за нашите домашни говорници што се присутни, така да главно ни е делот на нетворкинг.
Сметате ли дека вештачката интелигенција е нешто од што треба да се плаши обичниот човек или вакви едукативни настани ќе ја подигнат свесноста за незината улога во општеството во иднина?
Не, мислам дека само може да ни помогне, ама сепак нели до нашиот мајндсет зависи колку ние ќе ја прифатиме и колку ние ќе сме отворени спрема ова технологија. Не сметам дека ќе се изгубат работни места, баш напротив, може само да се преадаптират и може да ни помогне во работата.
Со мене го имам Марет од компанијата Vector 8 која неодамна влезе на македонскиот пазар. Со него ќе зборуваме за очекувањата од Infotek Summitот, од македонскиот пазар, од вработените тука, но и од сите оние потенцијали кои ги нуди државата како плодна почва за AI и регионален хаб. Your company Vector 8 has a very strong presence in the Western world, especially when we are talking about the artificial intelligence area and its development, something which has been very active in the past few years, especially with some of the great companies using the basis for developing such technologies.
So we're present basically in two markets with clients in the UK and Switzerland mainly. So that's the focus at the moment, and we have two AI Center of Excellences. One in Paris, and the other one here we established a couple of months ago, 3-4 months ago in Skopje. As said, I worked with previous company already in Skopje, and we really appreciate the availability of great educated people, very good talents, very collaborative, very loyal, and hard workers. So it's a great fit with what we were looking for, and also culture-wise, it's very nice to be working and collaborating with you.
Do you think that it is using the potential locally, or is it more globally oriented, given that many innovations have been made here from local companies and individuals? Can your company, Vector8, help this trend move more to a local character and local recognition, but with global impact, personally?
So AI is a hype. Everyone talks about it, and it's a lot of dynamics at the moment. And it's also for us, therefore, a great opportunity to attract great talents. That's for sure. And we have a global delivery organization. So yes, we have a center of excellence that I said. So here in North Macedonia, we're very strong at the moment, especially within the banking industry. And a lot of capabilities around the Microsoft stack and Azure stack. France is more around insurance vertical and AWS, knowing that those teams blend and work closely together. And we deliver globally. So it's really about getting the best teams, the best capabilities to deliver our global clients in the best way possible.
What do you think will be the future focus of AI and its ethical aspects?
So I think, AI, Gen AI is happening, so there is no way to ignore it. So we're in it, and we have to make it for the good of humanity, which is also one of our values and ambition at Vector8, to influence positively. We can do it all, but we are in the community and can have a positive impact. And I think the ethical consideration will be key. Yes, it's very difficult, in a corporate environment where your productivity and you need to deliver your numbers to investors. It's very difficult to find the right balance and to consider already what's the right way. But it's super important, I think, for our future that we consider ethics and make sure that we deploy those capabilities for the good of humanity at the end. We just saw the numbers about the EMF, that 60% of the jobs nowadays will be impacted by AI. And among those 60%, 50% will be just deleted, if you want, or the jobs will not exist in the future. So I truly believe this is a true statistics and this will happen. But I think it's on us to make sure that technology is elevating the human. It's bringing more capabilities to the human and not replacing the human. So it's on us to make sure that it's for the good of us and to get the best of the human-machine collaboration.
Thank you very much for this interview.
Sure, thank you.
Разговарам со Мартин LeBlanc од Freepik, компанијата која на вистина го подига креативниот израз на сите поединци на едно повисоко ниво. За тоа како вештачката интелигенција го менува креативниот израз на луѓето, зборуваме во продолжение. From your experience after this first day, you had a great stage talk about the ways the artificial intelligence is changing the creative field of work, is opening up possibilities. In your opinion, do you think that the artificial intelligence in the market now has the potential to replace or only to help the creatives around the world? And should they be afraid for their role?
Generative AI and everything that is going to change for the design community, it's going to change a lot of the things fundamentally. And I think if you adapt to it and you start learning the tools and working in new ways, I think you will be successful in this change. I think it's a problem if you try to fight it, basically, and only work in the old ways. You need to adapt, and I think this is a change that is very similar to the internet and smartphones. It's a new reality, and it's a new world. I think we will always value good taste and creativity, even in the world of generative AI. So learning really great skills in terms of really thinking creatively and developing a good taste. I think that's going to be really important for the creative industry.
Should the original work from the authors be at risk here, or can the artificial intelligence advance to a level in which it can produce its original content?
Yeah. So the starting point for all of these tools is a training set. So we need the data to be able to create tools that can generate images or generate music and so on. And from my side and my company's side, we believe that that nothing should go into these training sets without the permission of the creators, the copyright holders. So that's our policy, and I think that's also the ethical way to approach this problem.
Your company's exponential growth towards success and implementation of new technology is probably a very big motivation for other creators which are into this field. How is your company thriving in the future to be more successful and to stay on top of the game?
Yeah. So we've chosen a different approach than Adobe with some of our AI tools, where Adobe has invested in some fundamental models where they own all the data and trained all the AI themselves. We have, for now at least, partnered up with different providers, but it's also allowed us to always pick the ones that provided the best image generation tools, so we could give better products to our customers and evolve basically faster. So it's a different strategy with pros and cons. To some extent, we also want to basically own more and deeper technology, and most likely in the future we're going to train our own model also. But for now, the speed of development in these AI generation tools is so fast that it's a bit dangerous to get stuck and invest in your own model, and then some new approach appears, and then you can't adapt, you can't apply that to your products because you're stuck with your own model. So.
How is your company fighting the piracy, which is a big problem in infringing the author's work?
So the tools that we have right now, if let's say you want to create something that is potentially infringing, you can potentially do that, and it's impossible for us to stop people from doing that. So there will always be a time where the person using those tools needs to know that the output is already copyrighted, and it would be the same as if you're using, let's say, Photoshop. You can draw a logo of another company, and it's your responsibility to not or to respect the copyright in that case. The problem is that if we try to stop people from generating any copyrighted material there is in the world, we will need to know everything about all these copyright, and that's impossible.
In your experience in this company, in this field, do you think that over-regulating this area might lead to censorship or might lead to a decline in creativity?
So I think censorship is, by definition, is not the right way to go. I believe that we should have a set of laws that needs to protect different areas, and as a company you also have ethical concerns. Obviously you don't, if you are putting in a word like pilot and all the images of pilots are white males, you have a problem ethically. It might not be illegal, but it's a problem around diversity and so on, and we are actively going doing different efforts to avoid such problems. But I think as a foundation, it's not about, I think censorship is the wrong approach basically.
Особена чест ми и задоволство ми е да ја посакам добре дојде во Infotek и во ID Media на Psalti од Америка, од секторот за артифицијална интелигенција и развој на Microsoft. Таа е генерален директор на оваа област во компанијата. Dear Eve, you are the head of Microsoft's AI sector for development of this technology. Is it your first time here in Skopje? How you like the city so far? Did you manage to grab some occasion to make some sightseeing before this summit?
Unfortunately not. I arrived last night, so this is the first day. So probably after the event, I'm going to take like a little bit of time to walk around the city and look around. So I'm looking forward to this, but so far I haven't seen much.
Your very rich experience of 20 plus years working in this field of software engineering and development has lent you some exclusive possibilities to get some insights of the latest technologies and developments from one of which is the artificial intelligence as a new galloping technology the last few years with its development. So now you as a professional are in Microsoft helping with their AI segment and team. What is the main focus of your work now currently in Microsoft before we get to some of the past experiences?
Yeah. No, for the past 3.5 years, I've been in the Azure AI engineering team at Microsoft, and basically our team develops basically everything in the AI platform, or from the machine learning capabilities for people that want to develop their own AI models, to pre-trained API-accessed AI models that we develop through our research centers, like computer vision, language, speech. We also drive the collaboration with OpenAI on the Gen AI models that we get, like GPT-4, GPT-4o Mini now, the multimodal models that we see, DALL-E, Codex, etc. We developed a new category of AI models called small language models that are smaller with like a lighter footprint, that don't require a lot of GPUs, and they can be a little bit more agile. And we also provide the Azure AI Studio that provides access to a lot of open source models as well.
Your experience now is mainly based from your work in the USA, but here the Western Balkans remains as a field for very successful team members and successful personnel, which is collaborating in the Western world to make this technology develop and become more and more powerful. What is your personal experience being from our neighboring country, Greece, all the way to the United States? Can you give us some insight about your past experience working with the people from this region?
Yeah, I mean, I'm originally from Greece. I left Greece to go to college and continue in the US 30 years ago, so a long time ago. But obviously, emotionally, I'm very vested into the overall region, into the Balkan region. I'm working very closely with various teams in Greece and in the Central Eastern region to make sure that we do a lot of the knowledge transfer from the best practices we have developed in the US. And I truly believe that, with the right collaborations, the right private-public partnerships, we can drive a lot of education when it comes to upskilling and reskilling new generations around AI, but also helping a lot of the companies adopt AI in the safest and the most well-integrated way. I think there is a lot of hype around AI, there is a lot of fear around AI, and what we see is like a lot of companies are driving some pilots, they're experimenting, but very few are moving into a full production environment, and that's why I'm very passionate about really creating best practices and sharing them with the various kind of like governments and also with companies and other entities to help really the broader and safest adoption of AI.
Given your experience in this field and the development of the technology in the past years, what is to be expected in the following, given that already Microsoft has its own sort of a language model in the face of Copilot AI, like a personal helper? Where do you see this future being developed? And then we will talk shortly about the fears you mentioned before.
Yeah. No, that's a great question. We definitely see the evolution of a Copilot, right? Because at the end, in its essence, AI is a tool. So the Copilot basically says that, we're not replacing the human, we're giving the human the right tools to be more efficient, more productive, analyze data faster, go through and identify some patterns in a more time and cost-efficient way. So Copilot basically takes notes for you for long calls, it translates things, it creates next steps. For developers, it can generate code for a lot of the repetitive tasks that we all do. It can create documentation that no developer wants to do. So it's a great productive way to go about it, whether you're a knowledge worker or a developer. So that's the Copilot stack. Another area that I see a lot of development and investment from our end, but also we see the adoption on the other end, is multimodal models. So basically, models that you can interact with not only through text, but audio, video, and images. And this becomes kind of like a richer type of experience. You can interact with a model across multiple use cases and we're going to show a couple at this event as well. And I think that's kind of like the evolution that we see. Also, as a trend, what we see is AI models are becoming smaller, lighter, requiring less GPUs, faster, more accurate. So the human parity is becoming better and better. So we can kind of like, depend on the accuracy of the outputs even more.
Would you agree with me and the general maybe perception that currently maybe the AI is most active in the creative field of things, writing essays, making some photo, video, and other creative visuals? Firstly, the AI creative field is boosted because it probably can be better monetized at first, while not bringing maybe some significant technological development.
That's a great question. And to be honest, I'm going to challenge your question because I don't believe that the AI capabilities right now are at a point that can replace the creative spirit, the creativity, the creative thinking, the critical thinking of an individual. So it can provide a good starting point. So if you want to write a book or if you want to create a video game, you can get some ideas through DALL-E, through GPT-4 that can seed into the development or something, but you still need the human to create something unique and something that is very different. So I think we have a long way on the creative side. It can be a good help at first, but it can't really replace the creativity of an individual. Where we see a lot of adoption and good results is on the business operations. When you're trying to optimize a process, when you want to detect fraud, when you want to do a quality assessment, the contact center, kind of like automation. Document intelligence is something that we see, a lot of applications there because everybody has a lot of unstructured documents that they need to extract relevant information from. So a good way to do this is through document intelligence. So I think these are kind of like, we see the results more on the business operation side rather than the creative force.
My pre-last question is our countries are very into the paper phase of state administration. And do you see the potential of AI here in digitalizing the processes which are related to the states? Archiving documents, giving out birth certificates, marriage certificates, which is currently, both in my country and your country, a slow, painstaking process.
It's true. I think public sector can be modernized and there's a lot of opportunity there. I want to highlight an effort that actually started a couple of years ago in Greece with the government, working with the private sector. I think Microsoft was a key part of that to really digitalize a lot of the operations. So now there was a whole kind of like e-gov type of initiative to make sure that all of these documents and archives are in the digital format so that we can really process them and extract the relevant information and also automate a lot of the kind of like back and forth between the citizen and the central government and entities. So if you want to download your birth certificate, your wedding certificate, like a form here and there, you don't have to go and stand in line and all of that, but you can can do it now through a portal. So I think the digitalization is the first part, and then by applying artificial intelligence techniques on top of that, you can really optimize.
How far is the United States in this manner from the Balkans?
I think the US started these investments a long time ago, and I think they have like more kind of like direct access to a lot of these tech companies that are really part of the advisory boards and, you know, working closely with them. But also in the US, it depends on the state. So there's some things that are regulated at the federal level, but there is a lot of work that happens independently at the state level. So if you look at California or New York or Washington State, they're very, very advanced. But if you look at other states, you know, they're a little bit more behind.
Yeah, my last question, given your experience, the things you have seen here, what are the future plans for you and your company as a tech giant in this field? And what is some takeaway you will get from here and maybe implement it in the United States and your work experience there?
No, that's a great question, because we're all learning at the same time, right? I mean, the whole Gen AI concept and set of tools are fairly new. So I think we're all kind of like running at the same speed, try to implement it, see the roadblocks, see where it makes more sense, track the ROI on the other end, and adjust as we need. So there's always a lot of, I learn a lot from traveling and looking at all the implementations across the world. There were a couple of really great paradigms here shared at the event, how to improve the gaming experience, how to improve kind of, you know, football operations, how to improve more traditional industries. I'm looking forward to how this can also be implemented in regulated industries like healthcare, financial services, where it's a little bit more complex. So definitely, I think there are a lot of best practices that we all learn. Our role on the Microsoft side is to really innovate at a pace and also providing the accuracy and the tools for developers to do this work as efficiently as possible. And we work with a vast ecosystem of partners to make sure that companies and governments are adopting it in the most efficient way. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to you know, getting more out of this event and sharing and getting some of this information back.
At the very end, very shortly, and I'm not keeping you anymore, you mentioned some regulations. What do you think about the legislation? The EU has an AI Act to regulate this field. Do you think the legislation here in the United States can keep up with all the development of this technology, the fast development? And also, very short comment about the ethical aspect of AI and its potential misuse in the general public.
Yeah, that's a great question as well. I'm not an expert on the Regulation Act, the AI Regulation Act in Europe. As a broad comment, I would say there is a fine balance we need to keep. And I feel a lot of times in Europe, and I can say this as a European, we're more comfortable regulating something rather than creating the conditions to drive innovation. And I think we have to balance this. In the US, I think we see the opposite. There is a lot of innovation. Sometimes it's uncharted, and then, you know, we do the innovation first, and then we go back to align on the regulatory front. And then China, of course, is like, you know, no regulation whatsoever. So I think we need to find a balance where we can really incentivize and create the right conditions to drive innovation, so that Europe can become, you know, can foster this innovation within their boundaries. And also make sure that whatever we develop from an AI models or practices, we do it in the most responsible way. At Microsoft, we have developed a lot of processes and practices around responsible AI that we make available to our customers as well. And also, and more importantly, we develop responsible AI tools so that the users, the practitioners, can actually test if the models that they're creating, they're fine-tuning, they're customizing, are prone to bias.
Филип Илич е само еден од многу темина од регионот кои дојдоа да го посетат Tech Samitot оваа година, да го земат искуството кое тука се споделуваше од светските говорници. Тој доаѓа од српската ICT Hub со седиште во Белград, во чиј фокус е вештачката интелигенција и девелопментот на нов софтвер. Со него кратко ќе позборуваме за искуствата од самитот. Фала што прифативте поканата на Инфотек и ID Media за да позборуваме. Еве каков впечаток ви остави, веќе сме на крајот на првиот ден од Tech Summit.
Hvala vama na pozivu. Prvi utisci sa Tech Summita ovdje u Skoplju su zaista odlični. Nekoliko tek prezentera je predstavljalo svoje izlaganje na početku samog samita i nije bilo puno prilike se upoznam s drugim učesnicima jer svega nekoliko pauza u toku, ali prvi utisci su jako dobri. Svi prezenteri imaju jake reference, imaju jako dobre priče i fokus je sama primjena veštačke inteligencije u različitim sferama života, kao i etički, da kažemo, principi i izazovi koji nosi sama primjena tehnologije.
Кое е едно нешто што ви остави највеќе впечаток од првиот ден и нешто што можеби едва и чекате да го имплементирате во вашата работа, а ви инспирираше од другите говорници од светските компании како Microsoft, Freepik, Google и така натаму?
Ako me pitate za lično mišljenje, meni je najzanimljiviji deo bio primjena veštačke inteligencije u sportu, konkretno u fudbalu, radi postavljanja tako ispravne taktike. Ako me pitate sa poslovne strane, rekao bih da je to primjena nekih evropskih trendova, odnosno regulativa, koje su specifične samo za Evropsku uniju i gotovo nigde više u svetu se ne primenjuje na taj način i to je jedan jak izvor učenja i prosto primjena same regulative koja je već usvojena i koristi se u okvirima Evropske unije, nešto što bi trebalo sve zemlje u regionu da prihvate i adaptiraju na taj način.
Земјите од регионот важат за своевидна ризница на квалитетни кадри од IT светот, на програмери, на девелопери, на софтверски инженери и така натаму. Како сметаш дека можеме наспроти екзодусот кон западните земји да го донесеме искуството од западот тука и тука да се развиваат големи компании за чија работа ќе се зборува и ќе има светски импакт, да речем?
Apsolutno se slažem sa činjenicom da naše zemlje u regionu posjeduju veliki takozvani pool talenata i ljudi koji su veoma iskusni, veoma edukovani o novim tehnologijama. Također je važno da kažem da transfer znanja i iskustva iz zapadnih zemalja koje naši ljudi ostvaruju tamo, dakle dijaspora je naša jako važna i sve iskustvo koje oni steknu tamo da transferišu ponovo u svoju zemlju je od neprecenjive važnosti kako bi mladi ljudi bili inspirisani, dobili to znanje od njih, možda i ispratili put iskusnih kolega koji su nakon studija ili tokom studija otišli u inostranstvo, ali na kraju dana vratili svoje iskustvo i znanje u svoju zemlju. Tako da je to od neprocenjive važnosti i verujem da će sve više biti takvih praksi u budućnosti.
Making a comparison between Macedonia and Türkiye in this field, do you expect it to be more locally developed, the technology, or is it going to continue to be for outsourcing for the Western countries?
It's my first time here in Skopje, and I see from this conference, I see that there are too many valuable speakers from all over the world and important companies. So that shows that Macedonia have a huge potential for being an IT hub for all this region.
What are your expectations, sir, for the development of AI in your fintech segment and also generally? And what do you think the main focus will be in the upcoming future? And I want to make another short remark about the ethical aspect of IT and the ongoing conflicts which might utilize negatively the power of artificial intelligence.
As far as you know, the generative AI disrupted so many things in AI world. Before, AI was considered like traditional AI and generative AI, that so many people are speaking like that. And still it can be so little bit risky if you don't control it, if you don't make some regulations on generative AI. So as far as you know, European Union has an act today about it. So I expect that generative AI is going to make daily life of like developers or business units much more easier by helping them as a personal assistant. The ongoing era, the problem for the governments is going to be how to implement AI into the business by not reducing employment rate.
Čest mi je so mene da mu kažem dobre dojde vo jedan kratok razgovor na Bart Veenman od KPMG, odgovoren za razvoj na artificijalne inteligencije. Gospodine Bart Veenman, vi благодарам за интервюто. Интервюто ќе го водиме на англиски. Thank you for accepting this interview and welcome to the program. Your company operates in the European market in many countries, one of which is also Macedonia.
KPMG is a global firm and is divided in local firms. I work for the Dutch firm. And my role is it's on two sides. It's in the Netherlands, making sure that we adopt AI in our own organization and the services we bring to the market. So we really need to create this aptitude internally about AI to make sure people understand what the impact will be on their work. Because our work is changing as well and will keep changing over the next few years because it's a transformation we're going through. So focusing on our AI services, and I'm leading the AI services and propositions on the advisory side, KPMG Advisory, in the Netherlands. And on the other side, I'm focusing on clients. So it's internal and external. I'm focusing on clients in diverse set of sectors, financial, healthcare, public sector, energy, to support clients in their AI transformation, in their AI transition, to make the right steps and to create value, because there's so much information, so much buzz around AI, but how to really grasp the real value, and this is something organizations need to understand. So it's not just GenAI, the umbrella of AI is so much bigger, and we need to really get to the core of understanding what AI brings.
In your personal view, do you think that the development of AI in the next few years, going away from the generative AI, which is more for creative work, will focus more on producing data and information and analysis as a raw data, as a raw market analysis? And can the AI replace the human judgment when we are talking about market decisions?
It will never replace human judgment. I don't believe it will ever replace humans. It will make our lives easier. Like you said, the speed and the accuracy of our analysis will increase rapidly. The thing in highly regulated markets, you need to be as accurate as possible. So the human is always in the loop. You always need to have this human judgment. But 70, 80, maybe even in the next few years, 90% of all the work can be automated using AI. So it's having raw data, analyzing raw data, creating commentary, creating statements, finding anomalies within big data sets. There's so much to do with AI on raw data, for example. But at the end of the day, it's always us, humans, deciding on what to do with it. And we're shifting as type of workers. And we've always been knowledge workers, getting a lot of information, trying to make analysis, trying to make conclusions, and then decide what to do with it. Now we're becoming intelligence workers. So we're getting this intelligence from the computers. We're co-reasoning with the computers, the machines, and we just need to decide what to do with it. So we're moving from editor to editor-in-chief, in fact. And this is something we need to keep in mind. This change of work will impact the work we do. It will not replace us humans. It will make our role as humans only more important. And we will see a lot of reskilling, upskilling over the next few years, treating this intelligence on a different level. and be able to understand also what's happening on the backside, because for many people it's still a black box. And we need to demystify it.
Yeah, this is probably where from the fears come, because of people are not that well educated on the behind processes, on the core technology behind all of this, and behind the artificial intelligence as a whole. And this is maybe such summits and educational keynotes you're doing are helping.
Yeah, and that's also the reason why I'm here, and I want to create an understanding of what the AI is, what it brings to organization, what it brings to society, and really get to the core of what AI is. It's not just some external brain that we can use. No, we need to use the thinking power of AI models and combine it with our own knowledge, our own data, and to create organizational IQ, for example, which sounds a bit fake. But what we want is not to rely on external AI solutions. We want to use the power of AI and integrate it within everything we do, to make our lives easier, more fun, and so we become more social. And I want to have people understand that AI is just augmenting everything we do instead of replacing.
In a more effective manner.
Yeah. And so we should see it as a positive.
As a helper, not as a negative bad guy. Also, your 15 years of experience in working in marketing, working in data analytics, working in startups, working in e-commerce and other fields has led you the first role in this developing technology. What do you think about the US's regulation on the AI, since there the technology is much more developed than in Europe, but it's more or less regulated?
In my personal opinion, the EU is regulated, and it's really good that we have this strict regulation. US is ahead in innovation with less of regulation. But this will go the wrong way, and people will find out in the US, in my personal opinion. So we need to keep to this highly regulated environment, and within these boundaries, there's so much still to innovate, but only the forbidden AI solutions, which really affect individual people, that's forbidden. That's something we cannot keep developing. So that's why I really believe that the AI Act is going to help us in becoming more innovative, because all the forbidden things, that's not something we want to focus on. We should focus on things that help us as humans instead of replacing, like I said before. So I strongly believe in that we need to keep up the regulation as it is, and maybe even make it more strict. Because it defines our future, it defines the future of my kids. And I think it's really important that we stick to the regulation and influence regions like the US, but also Asia, to...
Especially in China, where it's not regulated at all. It's left to everybody's personal judgment, company's personal judgment, the advancement of AI. And also China and the Eastern market is participating in the global network, and in the global internet, in the global network. And as we know, many scams have been originated from the countries of the Middle East, not to pinpoint anyone specifically, but this AI, especially with the power, this technology opens a door to more scams, to more crime rates worldwide, which are very hard to tackle because they are global events. I wanted to ask you about the ethical aspect of AI in the face of upcoming world challenges with wars, with ongoing tensions. Currently, it's up to people's moral values to use the AI to help themselves, not to hurt others. What is your personal view on this?
First of all, to come back to the topic of scams and we're not able to cope and deal with these risks, I do believe we are able to deal with it, because the technology on the scam side is improving, but the technology we see within the privacy, the cyber, is also increasing rapidly. So you can fight tech with tech, and we need to keep improving and keep investing in these cyber programs, in the privacy programs, to make sure that we tackle that risk. So I do believe that we are able to solve that part and just have more focus on this safety net that we can develop. And within KPMG, we have all over the world big teams sitting, focusing on this security side of things. So I do believe that we're in control on this. But we just need to keep developing and need to invest in. On the ethical side, this is a different thing, because it will be integrated within everything we do in society. In the next few years, I believe that we will not see AI anymore because it will be integrated within everything. Like internet is now, like electricity is now. In the first years of electricity, you saw everywhere cables flying over the ground, and now it's everywhere. So that same will happen with AI. But then, the question is, when do we trust the AI telling us? So now models are being trained, a lot of models are trained, and organizations are not sharing what they are actually trained on. But I believe it's trained on a lot of internet data. But over the next few years, internet data will contain 80% of it as fake data.
AI-generated data.
AI-generated synthetic data. And then we create this world which is fully based on fake data. So this is something we need to overcome and make sure that the models we start using over the next years, yes, they use the thinking power, but you still need to add the real data.
What do you think about Apple's latest Apple Intelligence, which is not public yet, and their insight on AI implementation? Samsung already did it. Many big companies are on this train of AI, but it's more like they're using it for the creative part and user experience.
Yeah.
What is your personal?
I think it can be good. But I need to understand what models are being used, what data is being used, and how they use this for certain output. In Europe, we won't get it for now, because it's released, iPhone 16 full of AI is released in the US. In the EU, we will get a naked version without the AI, because we are regulated, we're highly regulated. So I want to understand, before being able to give a clear opinion on this, what are they using? What kind of models are they using? What are they using for? What happens with the data? Where do they store it? Is it safe? So that's why I cannot give a clear answer on that. It is concerning, of course, if they are not willing to bring it to the EU.
Where do you view KPMG's AI development in their work, in their end agent work in the next 5 years, for example?
Okay, we're integrating our AI within all the services that we have to make it more personalized, more direct, faster to deliver. It will change our business model as well. It will change everything we do. Not today, not tomorrow, but over the next few years. So we need to look critically in that. All our colleagues will have the right tools. We already have our own internal GPT, a private environment that you have ChatGPT, but on a safe level that we can use and interact with certain knowledge that we have. So it will change everything we do. Looking at the market, our focus will be on supporting organizations in transforming using AI. AI is not always the solution. And on the side, there are two really important topics. It's trusted AI. We have our global trusted AI framework that sets the guardrails to have AI integrated and deployed, trustworthy, responsible. So that's a path. And the second one is adoption. Taking people on a path towards the next steps in AI adoption, in change of their work, etc. So it's internally we're changing a lot. Externally we're supporting this, and we're treating ourselves as client zero, actually. So everything we test on ourselves, everything we do, we can learn from and bring to our clients.
Thank you for this interview. It was a pleasure having you in the program.
Yes, thank you so much for having me, and it was a pleasure.
Заврши второто издание на Infotek Samitot тука во просториите на Македонската опера и балет, на чија сцена големите технолошки гиганти и нивните представници зборуваа за технологијата на вештачката интелигенција и успесите кои се досега направени, но и плановите за иднина, со цел да ги мотивираат нашите и луѓето од регионот да го бркаат својот сон и во западните земји, но и тука, на домашна сцена. Ако нова беше и присуството на успешни македонски компании кои веќе имплементираат артифицијалната интелигенција во својата работа. Тие своето искуство го споделија тука за да ги мотивираат сите млади програмери, иноватори и софтверски инженери да го бркаат својот сон и да не се откажуваат од истиот. Самитот завршува уште една епизода на Инфотек, а се надеваме дека со неа започнува и нечии сон за успех и иновации. Благодарам што бевте тука. За 7 дена повторно се гледаме на истото место. Следете на социјалните мрежи, на Facebook, YouTube и Instagram.